Hello, everyone. Dr. J here at Libs Chiropractic Center. I am lucky to be here with actually my best man and best friend, Ian Davidson. How you doing today, Ian?
I'm great, son. How are you?
Good. Ian is the head water polo coach for Shores Water Polo as well as Bishop's Water Polo, CIF champions, and just all around awesome guy and probably the best water polo coach in the history of the world. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about Ian and what he does, and what his mission is with helping kids achieve their best athletic performance and moving on into college through water polo. A little bit about how things have been affected because of everything going on in the world. And Ian has been adjusted for majority of his life, and talk a little bit about how chiropractic has helped him and his athletes. So let's get right into it. Ian, how you doing today?
Doing all right. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day today.
I agree. It's perfect outside.
I think for me, one of the biggest things as we start to talk about this is what my biggest mission is in life, and I think it relates to the whole circle of things that we're going to talk about today. But it's teaching life lessons through the vehicle of sport is the simplest way that I can describe it. It's basically turning young boys and girls into young men and women and helping them to be tougher along their life and being the best them they can be, and helping prepare them for their life while getting the great opportunity to use sports as that vehicle. Incredibly helpful, because I know for me at least, I never really wanted to listen to my parents very much growing up, as you know. However, when a coach told me that I was supposed to use my time better or manage it better so I could go to practice and go to school or get good grades or move on to college where I wanted to go or whatever that next thing was, like, I just kind of happened to listen to them a little bit more than I listened to my own parents.
I never knew that. That's really interesting.
And it's funny, actually, now today I have parents that tell me the same thing. Can you tell them to clean their room? Can you tell them to brush their teeth more? Because they seem to listen to you for everything, but they don't listen to me. So
how interesting. I definitely listen to my parents more than any of my coaches, so that's super interesting. Unless it was about golf. If I was getting instruction on how to get better at golf, maybe that's the key. It was important for you to get better. You valued, getting better at water polo, winning championships, camaraderie with your friends. You didn't value cleaning your room, so why would you listen to someone telling you to do it? That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful position to be in. How have things affected you the last few months, and what is Shores and Bishop's plan moving forward?
Yeah, wow. So much. I think we had kind of planned on there being a shutdown and things moving to quarantine based off of watching other countries and just having a good little inside communication with a lot of the organizations around us and our national governing bodies and things like that. So we were pretty prepared. We had a slow rollout of what we wanted to do, and essentially we offer 4 days a week of content to every single team that we have, and then we are offering 4 to 6 days of content to our entire club. So it's like a personalized plan for each individual team, where they get a physical exercise every day, a water polo skill exercise, and a character development, being a better human exercise every single day, or just something to think about in those moments. And then
awesome.
We do video once a week, and then a check-in once a week with them on the personal level. And then we're offering things through the entire club, and actually for the whole world if anybody wanted to sign on through our Instagram and through our webinar series that we're hosting. So we have one today, actually. And we just kind of offer different things, communication with alumni, helping people make connections, learning that it's what they're going through, regardless of being in this pandemic or not, is not unique to them, right? That we're all really much more together than we think we are. And establishing that great connection is one of the coolest things about the places that I work, is that growing up in these clubs, at Shores for me, and growing up at Bishop's, and then now extending on to working at these places, I have a unique perspective into what that camaraderie is like. And I've seen it for a long period of time, but I also can help facilitate our current athletes to continue that connection beyond, to make sure that they can have as much camaraderie and family as possible.
So before I forget, could you please tell us how people could get in contact with you and get those Zoom links, or if anyone has, some kids that want to be, introduced into water polo, how could they contact you or Shores?
Yeah, of course. So there's a few ways. Just our Instagram stuff. We have I think it's at Shores Water Polo to follow us. We also, or I have my own Instagram that anyone can contact me on as well. Instagram and Twitter. It's Coach Davidson WP, I believe. And anyone can email me as well. idavidson.shores@gmail.com. Always available on that one.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about health. So I know that, being in shape and being strong and doing all those exercises that you're talking about that you send out to all your athletes is super important. So how does chiropractic, nutrition, mental exercises work with your students or your athletes?
No, for sure. But I mean, I think it's both. We deal with the student athlete every day, and they are connected. And I think specializing in one of those or deeming yourself only living in one category makes you incomplete. So I think that all of them become very connected. I think we use some circle diagrams to kind of show all the pieces of what we do, both coach education wise for USA Water Polo and then club wise as well. And I think it's really important that you have lots of different pieces that are making you up as an individual, because it allows you to be that really nice, well-rounded position. Well, so I think just talking about chiropractic as a singular thing or nutrition as a singular thing, right? These things are always needing to be connected. And so for me, I think it just comes down to general wellness, right? And I think it kind of falls under this big overarching category of, are you healthy and happy? And are you listening to your body and being in tune with what your body is telling you? And I think a lot of times we cannot have the volume turned up enough to hear, or we have certain things that are blocking our ability to hear what our body is really telling us. And so I think finding the best thing for each individual is really important in terms of what makes them happy or healthy, or what allows them to be their happiest or healthiest. So like when I talk about fitness, a great water polo player doesn't have to be 6 foot tall and 220 pounds and absolutely jacked. Is their body.
Take you for example,
That's right. I mean, I'm like 5'8" and not jacked at all.
And you're a 3-time CIF champion water polo player. I get it.
So, I think it's making sure your body is capable of doing the things that you want it to be capable of doing, right? And finding what's best. If you look at some of the best water polo players in the world, actually, they're not absolutely ripped. They're not absolutely built, but they are very limber. They have great strength and flexibility, and they have a lot of connectivity throughout their body in terms of moving in multiplanar movements. I think that's actually where for me, aside from the general health benefits, where chiropractic fit in a lot in my brain was, this connection from fingertip to toes to all throughout my body. There has to be a connection somewhere, and establishing or reestablishing the strength of that connection, or putting the train back on the tracks per se, really helped me. And for so long, when I was coming in multiple times in a week, I could literally feel when a little thing was here out or a little thing was there out, and just I could feel the difference. I could feel the effect, and then I could feel the difference once it was kind of put back in place as well.
I love the word that you just used, is connection. So not only is the purpose of these Zoom interviews that I'm doing right now to connect with other people, other businesses that I may not be able to otherwise because of the social distancing regulations, but chiropractic is all about connection. Research is showing that every single chiropractic adjustment reconnects the brain and the body. So every single time that you get adjusted, your body will start to heal faster, as well as you will be able to develop more connections and be able to feel when you're out more regularly. You will know, hey, I need to get an adjustment now, where 2 months ago I might not have realized that. You're more in tune with what your body is actually telling you, which always is a signal that something might be wrong if it's a symptom. So that's where connection comes into play, both intellectually as well as physically with chiropractic.
Well, it's one of those things too where, I'm not able to get in the office as much as I'd like to now and see you and get adjusted. And so if there has been a big break or a gap, you know, my body starts to tune out a lot of those messages that I'm getting, or I acknowledge the fact that I know I can't get back in there for a while. And so I just deal with pain or issues like that, right? And I know it's not healthy, right? And so then when I start coming back in, I have to deal with the ramifications of that, right? So like maybe the first few times I come in and it's just pain, right? Because those pathways are starting to be opened up again. But I have enough experience in this and going through it that I know that like that will pass, right? My body will heal, and that eventually I'll get back to that point of like total flow and total ease in terms of my body. And that for me becomes that homeostasis. True.
Yeah, this is a really interesting time because a lot of people have decided not to continue their care plan or just simply, you know, hold off on chiropractic because they're worried. And I totally respect that. But it's an interesting, you know, time for people to tune into their bodies, because I recommend a certain amount of visits or a certain amount of regularity for all of my patients for this exact reason. It's like if you went and worked out for 6 months straight and you got really, really strong, all of a sudden you took 2 months off and you try to get back into the gym, like you're going to be really, really sore and you're going to lose some of that progress. So although this, you know, there's nothing any of us could have done about this, it's definitely a good lesson towards why eating regularly healthy, exercising regularly, getting regular chiropractic adjustments. I mean, me and you love talking about the mental, you know, strength and thinking positively, like how important all these things are on a regular basis to maintain a healthy homeostasis, as you said, instead of just waiting for something to go wrong. It's all about being proactive versus reactive.
Very much. I'm a huge advocate for proactiveness, right? And setting yourself up for the best possible opportunities whenever they arrive. But I also think it's important that whenever you want to decide to start, that for anybody, right, that they just start their wellness path, right? And it doesn't need to be this great planned out thing of like, I'm going to work out this many times. I'm going to buy all this great food. I'm going to do all this stuff. There's a great Hugh Laurie quote that I send to a lot of my athletes about, there's no better time to start than now. And it's just kind of like this long thing about what a terrible thing it is to wait for a perfect time to start, and just kind of walks you through this whole thinking of like, it's like New Year's resolutions. I think we were just having this conversation, right? Like, why in the world am I waiting for New Year's, some arbitrary date to start my changes now? If I'm okay waiting, even if it's one day to start, right, then I'm okay missing that day. Instead of just saying like, okay, today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do this, or, you know, I'm going to get up right now and do 10 push-ups or 20 jumping jacks. And that's going to be the start of my health journey. And there's another quote, speaking of starting of journeys, right, that I live by a lot. It's actually a Will Smith quote about laying a wall. Nobody sets out to build a gigantic wall overnight, right? You have to start by laying one brick really, really well. And then over time, you get to look back and you see this amazing wall that's being built up, all because you focused on just how you lay that first brick, right? And then you lay that second brick. So, you know, to get out there and just start, whatever that is, you know, maybe today I'm going to eat a salad instead of having French fries, whatever that decision is, right? And that creates that flood and starts as a trickle, right? But that creates that flood of wanting to make decisions that will improve yourself and empowering you to feel like you have a choice to make better decisions.
I've always loved Will Smith, but now I think I love him more for different reasons. That's a great quote. I mean, whether we're talking about business stuff, like, you know, I know that, you know, I'm sure I'm allowed to say this, but you and your wife are pregnant now. Like, it just, yeah, you can plan all you want, but sometimes things just happen. And I know you were planning on it, but it makes me think of that, or starting a business or a health journey, or, you know, I'm going to start reading a book every day. I'm going to limit time on my cell phone, whatever that might be. Why wait for an arbitrary date? Just start now. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Well, I really enjoy spending time with you here. This has been awesome. Is there anything else you'd want to share with us about? Oh, I do have one question. When you talk about water polo and all the lessons that you're giving and 4 times a week you're meeting and all that, that was all based on shores. So you're not doing anything with Bishops or USA Water Polo right now?
Oh, well, so with Bishops right now, for the water polo portion, we kind of, it's not an official dead period, but we just kind of have a dead time during this end of school year session. And we usually start up, we give them about 2 weeks off as an official dead period and start up middle of June normally. We're going to push that back and start it earlier and just do some distance concepts and just going over some film and just making sure that we have another check-in point with our athletes. I think that's been one of the biggest things that I've learned as we've gone farther and farther is just the mental wellness portion of this. For the last 3 weeks, we've really shifted a lot away in club as well from really focusing and fixating on tactical things and tactical abilities and really getting more into spending more quality time with each other, just checking in, having some individual face-to-face meetings. As great as it is for Zoom, when you have 20 people on a Zoom, you still don't get to see the expressions on kids' faces when you make eye contact, right? And so getting them into smaller groups and finding little ways to do that has been really positive. And then for USA Water Polo, basically we're hosting every other week. I'm a national team coach for USA Water Polo for the development level. And so we host about 120 to 150 athletes every other week in an information session. So we cover a topic of water polo. And then we've changed ours to doing more check-ins and talking about it's okay to not be okay and really addressing the mental aspect of it and the mental strength portion of it. And making sure that all of our athletes are understanding that we're in this really unique time, right? And we're all going through it differently, but we're all going through it for the first time together, and that actually connects us, right? A little bit more. And especially in the world of Instagram posts and Snapchat filters and things like that. I'm not trying to sound like an old dude, but everyone looks like they're living their best life. And literally nobody is. That's just a statement of fact right now. Especially right now, no one is living their best life. And everyone just needs to understand that. And once everyone gets that, I think we'll all feel a lot better about what's going on around us, the story we're telling ourselves. Sorry, you had asked about what else we're doing for USA Water Polo. And then the other side of the every other week is we're doing a workout for all the athletes as well. So it goes workout, then the next week is checking in and some tactical stuff, and then working out.
So you're still staying busy as ever.
Yeah, I'm more busy than ever. I'm zooming all across the world. I've been in Australia, I've been in Florida, I've been in Canada. I've been all over the East Coast and the Midwest and Pacific Northwest. And it's been, honestly, I think it's a really cool thing that's coming out of this. There's a lot of great things that are going to come out of this time. Yeah, I really think a lot about the Dark Ages in history, and then coming out of the Dark Ages was the Renaissance. And so, not that it's as terrible of a time as it was during the Dark Ages for us today. We live in a lot better life now. But coming out of this, there's a lot of people that are finding ways to get better and improve and share information regardless of what field you're in. And I'm excited that we're going to see a renaissance of sorts in every phase of our world, be it sports, be it politics, be it art, whatever it may be. We're going to see this huge renaissance and this flourishing moving forward. And, I just hope that as many people around us can jump on board and go ahead and be ready for that. So I'm hoping everyone's using their time at home well, and they're appreciating it, and not just, Netflixing and Grubhubbing for 19 hours a day.
Right.
But, start somewhere and improve and find a way to make yourself better. So.
I challenge everyone watching this when they stop watching it right now to do 10 push-ups.
Definitely. And Jay and I will do it as well. It's a challenge we do all the time to each other. So.
Sounds good. Love you, brother. Thanks for hopping on, and hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Love you too, dude. Have a great day. Thanks for having me on.
That was fun.